And thus, here we are again. Another thrilling adventure of the Kobolds. Last time, you encountered a very strange section of the city in which there was seemingly a how to describe it. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Let's say it. Great start to the intro, Evan. Great start. Good job. Got some water. There we go. Perfect. You had seen in the distance that there was an arboretum filled to the brim with various different trees, almost seeming like they were in a perpetual state of eternal autumn. You ventured towards this arboretum to see what it had in store for you, only to find that it was occupied by a sleeping tree that seemed to have some sort of intelligence to it, and a very, let's say, not quite wholly good personality. Echoings of "Bring down, burn the world" echoes in the distance. But this individual tree seemed to have a certain desire to leave a protege, as it were, in hopes of that you all would return to the surface world with goals of conquest, goals of seeking of dark knowledge, all different manner of nefarious deeds, to which you indulged him. Some of you might have even been completely honest with that regard. Perhaps certain, not naming any names, Scanuck. But he gave you, those who agreed with him, a gift, in that of a oaken wand, hewn from his branches. He also revealed to you that in order to reach the central spire of Ythrin, one must learn of the arcane octad, a specific ritual used by those who would wish to gain access, become apprentices of Ariel Larthus, the Lich Lord of Ythrin. With this information in tow, you wish to find the source of this arcane octad ritual and the details of it. And so, as you ventured forth, you discovered that there was a library not too far away. In the hopes of finding this knowledge of this ritual, you ventured towards this library, perhaps also in the hope that you would find something else along the way, any other lore from the city, or its downfall. As you entered the library, you found that it was occupied by a nefarious, fox-like creature that had in its service a collared and shackled penguin by the name of Kingsport, who pulled forth a wagon filled to the brim with books. The creature identified itself as Scrivenscry, as well as a scholar of sorts, looking for a particular book of fiendish names, to which the information of which was kept very secret, but that only that he was searching for it, as well as that he mistook you for the librarians of this specific establishment. You indulged this, and attempted, at the very least, to find this book for him. Of course, not being able to find it, as people had cast a particular spell of locate object to determine that there was no such book in the library, and this individual was mistaken. While you looked through the library, Hawks noticed that the penguin handed him a scrap of wood with the words, "Help me," inscribed upon this plank. With that, you determined that there must be a way to free this creature, this beast, from this fiend's service. To which you proposed a deal. You conjured up a contract in order to relinquish the services of Kingsport from Scrivenscry's service. In return, you gave him a cloak of the manta ray, which was begrudgingly given by Scales. One day you may find another one, Scales. One day, hopefully. But the cloak was given, the contract signed, and Kingsport was handed over to you. And Scriven Scry, who was discovered to be an Arcanoloth, a mercenary-type fiend from the lower plains of Gehenna, vanished without a trace, nowhere to be found. And so, we return to the library with the newly freed Kingsport the Penguin, currently just flapping his wings up and down. You watch as Scriven Scry disappeared. The collar around his neck began to unclick, all the shackles falling to the ground, leaving the nearly blinded from the feathers around his mane, around the cranium of the crown of his head, just starts jumping up and down, flapping and squawking in delight. So,
Well, that saves me from having to use a spell slot to remove that. That's nice. I was hoping it wasn't like trapped or something. That's a good thing.
yes, very good indeed. Kingsport suddenly says in perfect common.
So you can just sort of talk.
I can, yes. I was unallowed to.
Oh, well, that's not right. It's a good thing we got you then.
Yes, now I can speak freely.
So, how long has he had you?
Many years. Many, many years. I do not remember last time that I was free. But you have my thanks. You're not entirely wrong, Scales. This group does enjoy taking intelligent small or deadly large creatures under their wings. A not incorrect assessment.
So,
Then we have the Kobold campaign, where we are basically all that.
so what next?
Yes, what next?
I suppose, Valin, you probably want to look at some stuff in here.
That I certainly do. She'll just
Professor, is there anything you're looking for?
Hold on, gotta open it. She will rummage through her pocket to bring out the professor. No, not in particular. I believe I've had most of my questions answered regarding certain topics. Although, if I find anything new that I find worth researching, perhaps say, well, vampires or the Tarask. Ooh, Velin, look over that shelf. Do you see a scroll of Tarask summoning? No, Professor, I do not. Well, keep looking, please.
I don't know if we're gonna find it just sitting around in a library.
Probably not, but he gets like this when he's excited. So I'll see what I can do for him. And so Villain will just kind of close shut the book that she was rummaging through, and she will continue scouting down that direction.
Telepathic message to everyone but Valin. If you find the scroll of Tarask summoning, just don't let Valin know.
Understood.
She'll just kind of go through there, put the book back, just start combing through these shelves over here. As for the rest of you, go ahead and make some investigation checks for me, as you're now can comb the library at your leisure.
Can we tell how it's set up?
In what particular way?
Like, is there like there's got to be like a organization to it. Can we tell like what the organization system is, or if there is one that we would recognize?
For that, interestingly enough, make an Arcana check for me.
That doesn't have been an
Arcana.
advantage, but I rolled really badly anyway, so...
I'm gonna
It's
use
okay.
Emboldening Bond on everyone here, so that we can add the D4.
Didn't help.
That didn't help me either.
That's fine. That's fine. So,
Natural 20 just kind of ignores plus.
for Skanuk and Meepo in particular, and I'll say, Scales in particular is searching. As you're kind of coming through the library, at one point in time, there may have been an arcane, a specific magical method of organization. There are remnants of runic sigils on the bookshelves, and everything that you see now is completely disheveled. There's no sense of organization whatsoever. You get this sense when this library was most likely at its prime, there most likely was a method of picking a specific section of the bookshelf, either saying something aloud, or perhaps even such a simple gesture as snapping one's fingers. One could summon a book at your disposal of a certain topic. Of course, such magics have long since either faded or been destroyed, and such organization has been completely for naught. And so it is a arduous task to search through this library of finding anything at all that might be relevant. You see the mating habits of the owlbear occasionally, second edition. Why that's a whole book, you don't know, but wizards, difficult to say. There's just a whole mess of random texts that seemingly have no rhyme or reason to them. But I will say this, with the 19 investigation check that Scales rolled, let me go ahead and roll a 1d20. It's 22 total. I said 19, but it's a 22 total with the Emboldening Bond. So I will roll... very good. Okay. That means that I need to find that particular page. Okay, so I'm going to roll 3 times on this table. Interesting. Okay. Okay. This just became very important. Let's start from the bottom up. So, let's start with the 9. I'll say Scales. You pick out, you're just kind of coming through these books. You're kind of like picking out like, arcane armaments, and that might be good for Skanag. Maybe I'll keep that to the side. Maybe he'll find that useful. You see one particular text that stands out to you. Maybe it's just the cover. The specific title has been kind of rubbed away, but you're like, the cover looks nice enough and looks very well kept. Let me open this one. You open it up, and you kind of like, it seems to be a journal of some kind. It looks to be not quite an advertisement, but definitely a ledger of some kind. It seems to have all different manner of items and inhabitants from other places, from all across the realm of Toril, sold at a place called the Enclave Bazaar of the Bizarre, somewhere in the city. Let me double check this particular location, if I can give you any more information from that particular source of knowledge regarding this. One moment.
This is a place we could potentially go, and some of the stuff might be there.
Some of it might still be there, correct. I just need to find the specific section in the book, and for some reason I'm not seeing it because I'm blind. My apologies. Target nation. I think I'm looking too fast. I'm skipping. There we go. Here we go. I found it. Okay, let's see here. Indeed. Yeah, there are at this place you see many different, seemingly for the time, common magical items. All different manner of like various different potions, or even such things as like relics of arcane wonders. Most likely, most likely, hopefully, would still reside there if it wasn't destroyed by the fall of Yithrin. You would have to go there itself to see if those relics are still intact. But with that, there is a location listed in the book, an address. So if you look, when we move back to the map, I will mark the location of the bazaar of the bazaar. That's the first piece of information that you know. The second piece of information that you learn. It seems to be a book of the latest fashions of the time. You might have gotten this one before. The city's elite, apparently, wore robes of silk that displayed shifting illusory patterns. I will actually say, I believe you might have gotten this one before. If you did, I will say that this particular book has an address listed, and a flyer pops out for a silken hall. Apparently, from what's listed in this flyer, the secret of these different fashion trends and magical garments were crafted by magically enchanted fey spiders who could craft any sort of garment one could desire or imagine in just a matter of moments. So, that is the second thing that you learn.
Did you say phase spiders or phase spiders?
Phase spiders. My apologies. I need to enunciate. Phase spiders.
Spiders of phase.
Yeah. The spiders aren't phased by anything.
Aha.
Hey, got 'em.
Immune to surprise, can't be stunned.
They have the alert feed.
Ooh.
But there is...
Unfazed phase spiders.
But there is something else. Another book catches your attention. This particular book is completely covered in a black binding. And it has a particular image on the front of the book, which is not necessarily familiar to you because you haven't seen it. But the description catches your attention as you look at this image of a spire on the front cover. An obelisk, if you will.
Oh.
And as you look at this, you flip it open, and you suddenly begin to read a passage. This passage states that this ancient obelisk stands in the shadows behind the spire of Aerial Larthus. And then suddenly, you come to a realization. The spire, the obelisk rather, it has a series of enchantments and all manner of arcane power that is no longer able to be reproduced in this day and age. Magics that were created by a long-lost civilization that were wiped out from the face of Toril. These particular obelisk, this one that lies in the city of Yithrin, has a specific power that was invested into it by the archmages of Yithrin, as well as the Lich himself. By utilizing the power of this obelisk, one can attune it to a particular time. If one had attuned to this obelisk at a specific time, at a later point, say years or even hundreds, thousands of years later, should the obelisk be activated, one can have the power to turn back time to the original point of attunement, effectively going back in time to that moment.
To which moment?
To when the obelisk was originally activated. To put it in base terms, say I would consider the most apt description a checkpoint of sorts. The last time it was activated, that time you can return to.
Even if you're not the one that attuned to it originally?
Even if you're not, take two. Even if you're the one that didn't attune to it originally, it seems to be focused on a specific point in time. No one knows the origin of this magic, only that its origin is completely sourceless. It is no longer a part of Toro's history, whatever it was.
And that's written in this book, so that at that point it was no longer. It was old at that point.
It was old at that point.
Oh no.
Can I suggest that we not, like, turn back time to literally, like... Yeah.
Does it have any way of
What kind of-
destroying it?
It doesn't say in the book.
What kind of what kind of describe what kind of traveling through time this is? Is it sending the mind back? Because that'd be bad. Or is it sending the body, like the whole body, back?
From what you're reading, it seems like it would send the city back. That you could tell. It seems mostly conjecture and theories. It's difficult to pinpoint
Just
because the magic had not been used before.
right. Yeah, I'm going to put my official recommendation on the don't poke that.
That was my recommendation before I even knew what it did, so I'm still going with that one.
Yeah, if Eldath ain't happy about it existing, then, I can't imagine this would be, like, the good fixes problems kind of time travel.
Right. I think it fixes
I mean,
problems on the wrong side of things.
Anyway, if it was old before the city even fell, then like, how old are the gods?
That's a good question. I don't think we really have an answer for that, but it's older than most of everything.
So like, if the time this was activated is before they came into being, then you could undo them.
So specifically, to avoid confusion, one can make a new checkpoint, as it were. So specifically, the mages of Ythrun had activated it to set at a certain point in time. Specifically, it lists the date as the year of Chilled Marrow.
Well, that sounds like something Arl did.
Yeah, I still don't like it.
Yeah, I don't want to fight Arl at her height. We had trouble with her when she was nursing her health back.
This whole time, Velen is silent, but she's mentally processing the information that you've given her.
Absolutely not. We're not going back to then.
No, I agree. As tempting as that would be, I have too many contacts, too many people that I would miss, quite frankly, if I was to go back into time. Although
And I'm pretty sure you'd probably get smitten by at least one god. Probably most of them.
wait, what? Why? Oh, smote, not smitten, as in okay, I misunderstood what you said.
To be smitten can be smitten by love or smitten by gods. It's two different things.
Smote? Is it smote?
I think both work. I don't know. I'm not a grammarian.
And neither
Says
am
me, though.
I'm just. Anyway, but no, I am in agreement. Do not activate the spire. So specifically, it does list the way to activate the spire, and to activate this power, one must require a magical item called a Staff of Power. So it's not something you can just do automatically. It does require a specific item to do so.
It's matted. Thanks, Kanak.
Yes, thank you, Skanok.
What was it you just said? Sorry, I was looking up smitten.
Oh no, nothing
English
in
matron,
particular.
it was
Just
spoiling.
that she agreed not to mess with this particular instance.
Okay.
That does mean, though, that I need to figure out where the bazaar is before I move you guys to that.
Right.
Back to the main map.
Well, that was a good find.
Choose to leave.
That was a good find, Scales.
Let's definitely take any reference to this. Oh, sorry.
Well, thanks.
Let's definitely take any reference to this with us so that no one else can find out about it and potentially do the time
Yeah.
warp.
The Professor Orb knows about it, though, so if anybody finds him... I say we just reset the checkpoint to now.
Eh,
But the problem is, would that send us back, or would that...
You're not sure.
Does
Well-
it have any instructions on how to do it?
It certainly does not.
That's a shame.
It seems that that page has been ripped out.
Ah, that's also a shame.
concerning.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, we can just bombard her with Dispel Magic.
I don't know.
So there's a
Probably have to be
specific
pretty
staff
powerful.
that's needed, right?
Yes, specifically it's called a Staff of Power.
Will any staff of power do?
From what's listed, it is a particular staff. One that is located in the heart of the spire itself, belonging as property of Eriolarthus himself.
Okay, so we gotta kill the Lich, take his stick, poke the thing the right way, and then it resets it to now? And if we poke it the wrong way, we jump back in time.
Well, either we jump back in time, or like our minds get sent back in time, but because it's so long ago, there's no bodies and we just die.
It sounds like it sends the whole city back in time, and like reverses time around us.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if we would go just where we're standing, stay where we are, and time would just go back, and then the city would like float back up or something like that.
It sounds like a weird pyramid scheme to get infinite cities.
Probably. That's probably why they put it here.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna do the time city glitch, the dupe city glitch, just real quick. Oh gosh.
Any percent speed run.
Clone
But because
city,
you go back in
12
time, it
level
really is a
spell.
speed run.
It is.
Another thing is, what if like, you know how the god of magic like died and was remade or whatever? Was that before or after the year that's mentioned there? Professor, you know?
I believe I actually know this one. I believe it actually happened after, to my knowledge.
So she'd be either dead at that time or still the old god of magic.
Most likely, yes.
Huh. I mean, I don't think anybody really needs the old one back if everybody these days is worshiping the new one. Well, everybody who worships them. Do I know the differences between those two gods? Just
Not in particular. It's not your particular area of expertise, I would say. But in any case, you have found a significant amount of information at this point in time in this library. However, it seems like most other information does not seem to be too forthcoming. in regards to getting me some information. Actually, now that I think about it, there is actually one more piece of information that you do find that is relevant. I will say, let's see which particular book this would be. Because you were specifically looking for information regarding the Arcane Octad, you did roll high enough of 22, so you would have also learned this. In order to become an apprentice of Ariolarthus, one must first travel to the 8 towers of the Arcane in the city, learn from their inscriptions, and perform the ritual. So, in order to learn the details of this ritual, it tells you that you must travel to the towers of the Arcane, the towers of divination, enchantment, evocation, necromancy, illusion, transmutation. I believe I'm missing conjuration and illusion.
You already said illusion.
I did, because I'm silly. I believe that's all of them. Essentially, all the different schools of magic have a tower in this that they're based off of in the city.
Oh, that actually makes things a little bit easier to understand.
8 is a very specific number. It makes sense.
Does that mean he had an apprentice who was specialized in each one?
Indeed he did. One piece of information that you had learned earlier. Let me double check this information to make sure it's correct. Let's see here. Double checking here. Ah, yes. You know for a fact, one piece of information that you had found was that Yithrin is governed by a group of 8 arcanists, known as the Wizards of the Ebon Star. Their names and faces are immortalized, it said, in the city's museum. What the information you learned earlier also told you was that those 8 wizards, those 8 arcanists, were once apprentices of Ariolarthus, his original apprentices. Didn't give you their names, but each one had a specific school of magic, one for each tower.
Should we go to the museum and figure out what their names are? Because that might help us get into the towers.
Makes sense. See if we
I
can
think-
hunt that down.
Did we see the museum on a map here? Is there a map of this area?
There really isn't a map of the area that you can see. But the thing about the city is, because it's so big and wide, you got a good kind of look at it from all across. It's very easy to kind of see where things are, per se. Even in like the more densely urban and populated, what would have been populated areas. I will say, certain places are easy enough to find the addresses for, and like where they are located in the city. I would say the museum itself does have a location listed in which particular quarter of the city that it's located in. And when we get back to the map, I will actually mark that down. Once I find where it actually is on this map, because there is a lot in the city. So, why don't I just send us back to that map while I look at this. There we go. So, I've circled, badly, where the Bazaar of the Bazaar is located. Not too far from the theater. Where is the museum? I swear, finding things. It's not the most convenient way of doing this. The museum There you are. Okay. The museum is this domed building. You can see where I'm pinging is going to be down here. This domed, sort of almost almost like pinkish colored glass domed building. And I will write down
The pink one here?
the pink one. Yes, one moment. I'm going to text out. That is an awful color. However, I'm going to leave it there. That is where the museum is. And the thing was, for the obelisk itself, you know it's behind the spire itself. So even though you don't currently see it, because it's behind the spire, you know generally where that would be. It would be somewhere back here, you feel. That's the impression that the book gave you. So somewhere in that dark, shadowy place that is currently...
The dark, shadowy place is basically blocked our view by the tower, I'm assuming, then?
Correct. Just from your current location. If you were to venture further towards the bazaar and the theater, you would most likely see that. But just from the current angle, you wouldn't see it. So then, Villain will kind of steeple her fingers. Where to next? The bazaar, the theater, or the museum?
I kind of want to check out this bazaar. I also think it's one of the closer things to us. It's on the way to the theater, really.
That's alright with me. I don't really have a preference. I just kind of want to be out of the city by evening, if possible.
Yes, I match that sentiment. Well, if we don't want to waste any time, let us be off as quickly as we can. Plus, the longer that we're sitting, the longer the time we take, the more likely we're going to run into something, I feel. Or fall afoul of whatever that curse was.
Alright, let's go.
Alright. So you begin the march. Now, you did spend a
Good luck.
decent amount of time in the library. And as such, Hawks, you gain another foot.
Oh boy.
And your strength is increased by 1 at this point.
So I am now almost 18 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Did we shrink him to get him to the library, or did he squeeze in?
I think I'm still just large right now.
You're saying, wait, hold on, you said you're 18 feet tall?
Approaching it. I'm 17 foot 9.
17 foot 9. How tall is a... Hang on, I need to double check. How tall is a hill giant?
It's a great question.
Hang on, where's my Volo's guide to monsters?
To monsters,
It has the specific heights of these giants, is it not? I feel it does.
I don't know, but I have mine here.
Okay, so
Monsters.
ogres are large and they're 9 to 10 feet tall.
I feel like you should be huge
A
now.
hill giant is 16 feet tall and huge.
Well, I think you're considered huge now, buddy.
16 to 17 feet tall is...
Okay, so I will need to use one use of the ring, the enlarge reduce, not ring. I don't know why I called it a ring, but you know,
The thing.
The axe?
Magix.
Was it the axe? Or...
yeah. One use of enlarge reduce to reduce
I'll be right
myself
back.
through the door.
Your form kind of shuts down a little bit. However, that does also mean that something else might happen. Okay.
Stuff becomes a bit more difficult with hawks being visible over the buildings.
Indeed, indeed. I will say, because Hawks, you are quite large, I will say that this does mean that you can see the exact location of the spire. You are quite tall, and because of that, I will let you see this. So let me zoom out of the map.
He's like a tower for us. We can climb up him and use him to like check out the view.
You kind of can, yeah. Oh, hold on, I'm using the wrong... Right, I can't do that on the streamer side. I have to actually... Hang on. Now, roll 20. I know we've had our disagreements in the past over the reveal tool, but if you could just do this solid for me. There we go. I knew I could count on you. The spire itself is located right here. I keep calling it the spire, but it is in fact the obelisk. I keep mixing that up. The obelisk is here. It stands at a good 60 to 70 feet tall. It is absolutely massive. And I will say, roll a perception check for me. 20. You notice a almost hairline crack from your perspective. What must be much larger next to it. A hairline crack forming from the very top of the obelisk to the very bottom.
I think it might be damaged.
Seems to be.
That's interesting.
But, with that, you guys move over to this location. At this point, the buildings, unlike the very sparse open area near the Arboretum, it gets back into a clustered set of buildings, which increases travel time only slightly. But you can see the remnants and bodies left behind, long since turned to dust. You can only tell what transpired here from some of the robes and clothing that was left behind. Most likely having some form of rudimentary enchantment on them, which is probably how they were still there at all, and not turned to dust themselves. Evidence of dozens and dozens of bodies. What would have been, at least. And they all seem to congregate around a particular building. The building that you are currently heading towards, in fact. Some of them actually are not just clothes, but are, in fact, corpses. Corpses of those one-eyed creatures, the Nothics, that you had encountered before. Some of them are even fresh.
Where do they come from?
What was that? Sorry.
So what left those?
Roll a medicine check for me.
Check. Ah, raccoons got them.
Ah, yes, those darn tomb raccoons.
I'll get you.
Only the fiercest monstrosities. Nipo Molo. You notice that some of the bodies are cleaved completely in twain. The cut is completely clean, and whatever it had to have been very large, as it cut the body very large.
If those are raccoons, they were really big raccoons.
However, that's not the only thing that you notice. You notice that honey, don't lick my water bottle, please. Sorry, distracted. You notice that while some of the bodies are cut completely in two, others seem to have been smashed in by blunt force trauma. From, if you didn't know better, or maybe you do know better by looking at it, looks like it was made from the bruising to suggest a large fist. A very large
Well, some of them were
fist.
probably killed by those floating hands we saw. Some of them were cut in half. I don't know what did that, but it was big. Oh, maybe those doors that it talked about? Are there any that are just like half a body?
Most of the ones that are slashed are half a body, yes. Although
They're like half a body and the other half is not anywhere to be seen.
no, the other halves of the bodies are still there. None of them seem to be missing any body parts per se, which is interesting. I will say, roll perception as well for all of you.
Nice.
Quite good, quite good, quite good. Let me see. 12, 19, 5. Okay. Everyone except Hawks. You're kind of like still getting used to the height. Some of the kind of like rustly in your inner ear, Hawks, still getting used to like the altitude change. You kind of have to pop your eardrum a little bit. But for the rest of you, you hear this stomping sound. Coming from inside the building. Very heavy footfalls, it sounds like.
Hawk, something that's maybe your size is walking around in there, it seems like.
I was just thinking, there was evidence of a big thing that had smashed some fellas when we first entered, right? Those dark elves. You think there's another one of them swinging an axe around somewhere?
I guess it could be.
Well, whatever it is, I certainly don't want to be anywhere near it. So then we'll just kind of steeple her fingers and just kind of like hold them near her face. She clearly is not thrilled about finding the source of whatever this is.
How far away does it seem?
It's inside the building, right?
Yeah, inside this building. Although, I will say, it looks to be, perhaps at one point this was a large market hall, sitting at the end of this very large plaza that you're now kind of like walking towards. It has four kind of like towers that have also seem to be smashed inward. There are kind of like faded pennants as well, hanging above the entrance, frozen stiff. That loud clattering is kind of like resounding out again. Also,
Would it be?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like you notice as well. I'll say with the 19, you also notice that with the heavy footfalls, you also hear a metallic clanging, seemingly
Interesting.
from the same distance. The
I
same
have a wacky theory.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to try and sneak around or in to get a look without being seen?
You may certainly try.
Okay.
Wait, you
Do
said
you want?
it sounds metallic?
Metallic, like a sound of clanging metal. Fainter than the
I
footfalls.
I have a wacky theory.
I think we have the same wacky theory. I will let you investigate this wacky theory.
I'm going to cast invisibility on Skinnock.
I don't think there's any need for that. I am very, very sneaky.
That's all right.
Alright. Oh, okay, Shadow Touch. It's not like a...
Yeah, it's not a spell slot.
Okay, cool. In that case, I will absolutely take that and not have to concentrate on it. Cool! So I will initiate sneak, and between invisibility and the cloak of Drowkind, I probably have advantage.
Alright, go ahead and make that stealth roll then.
Alright.
I'm kind of feeling like you won't need invisibility if my theory is right.
Okay. Alright. Here's where it all comes together. Oh, God. Oh, dear.
Okay.
13.
Okay. Hang on, I
Size
need
of-
to... Okay. So... you have a lot of junk on you, Skinnock. And it kind of rattles a little bit as you're sneaking forward, but you got this. You got this. You're sneakier than you gave yourself credit for sometimes. You know, you just kind of like put the junk down. And you're like, okay, I'll be a bit sneaky. Every time every time you move like maybe like 10 or so feet, there's something else that's rattling. Like, ah, shit, forgot that. You kind of like put it aside, keep it like a quieter, more what's the word? Cushioned pouch to reduce the noise.
Oh,
And you quickly sneak inside. I'm not going to move to the battle map just yet.
it's encouraging. It's encouraging.
Well, there's always a battle map for anything that has a name.
Of course.
Because there's random encounters.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, as you head into this market stall hall, you see evidence at one point. This was a very heavily populated area, but everything in here has been completely smashed. To the first 4 rooms that you see, to your left, right, to your immediate right, there appears to be a table with these red, kind of glowing stones that have been smashed to bits. And to the second room on your right, you notice that there's basically a bunch of cages that have been like upturned and pushed to their sides, and are seemingly looks like they've been clawed open, and there is evidence of like maybe at one point in time sets of paw prints and claw marks etching into the very stone themselves. To the left of you, there you see evidence of like many different skulls and bones of like various different creatures, some of which have been smashed, some of which are still intact. Namely, some skeletons are both that seem to be draconic in nature, and some other strange creatures that you can't seem to identify. The second room on your left appears to at one point been filled to the brim with all sorts of knickknacks and doodads, perhaps maybe at one point in arcane nature, but it has been smashed completely by what looks to be, at your best guess, a giant sword of some kind. And then you think, what could have caused such destruction? And then you see it. But it doesn't see you. Namely, by the fact that this iron golem is missing its head and is currently chopping and swinging wildly at a wall to the northwest of you, and does not notice your presence.
That was... Yup.
Gonna boogie on out of here.
Kind of confirmed the theory.
Somehow I just totally missed that and was caught off guard. But it makes sense.
There are no words to describe how desperately I want to install my turret on the stump and take control of it, but I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, it is currently rampaging and it's at a corner of the room. It seems to stop for a moment and kind of like it runs to the opposite side of the room and just starts smashing the ground. Its sword which is almost half its size, it starts cleaving to the stone, and it carves right through it, not blemishing the blade at all. Its contact begins smashing the ground, seemingly for no rhyme or reason. But occasionally, the body seems to stop and wait for a minute, and then it'll continue its rampage. But you are unnoticed, so if you wish to head back, you may do so, because you don't believe it has spotted you. So what do you do, Skinner?
Gonna slink away
Okay, you slink away.
because no interest in that particular beating at the moment.
Indeed. Well, you make it back to the group safe and sound.
So, Iron Golem.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have its head. I think we know where the body of our buddy is.
Huh.
Um,
If only we could have carried the head with us.
Yeah. Does seem to be kind of attacking at random.
Did we try when we were with the head to see if it would fit in a bag of holding? I think we did.
It was quite large. If you had done it, you would have taken up the whole space of the bag.
Yeah,
now we could have,
yeah.
But now we could have emptied it here and maybe
that's in theory.
averted
We could try that.
Well, we'd have to go all the way back up.
Oh god, yeah.
There's no way that's gonna happen. That's like a several day side trip to stop an iron golem that we could probably just take down if we needed to. If only we could communicate with the body. Or maybe you think the head still has control of it?
I don't know. That's it. Huh.
Because, I mean, I could always try sending to the head.
Maybe.
An interesting theory. I'm curious about what little that hasn't been smashed, if we can uncover any relics that might be left behind if we search the location. But we might be, if we'd be willing to risk that, I'm not sure.
Do we want to do it?
We should give it a try. We probably need you to do it. Like, we probably need to get the professor to translate for you.
But it doesn't have a head, so it wouldn't understand us either way.
No, we're talking about sending to the head. And seeing if the head will...
I misunderstood. I seem to be doing that a lot lately. I think I need to get my nose out of my book more and pay more attention.
Well, that's alright.
The DM says to himself, in and out of character.
The least wizardly thing one has ever said.
Seriously?
Basically the idea is we send to the head, see if the head is still in control of the body, and if so, if it'll stop attacking things at random. And then, if it doesn't work, then I've wasted a spell slot.
Do you think it's worth the risk? I'm unsure of it myself.
Well, how long have we been awake?
At this point in time, since we woke up, 7 hours perhaps? No, it hasn't been that long. I I'd say 4, maybe 5 hours.
Well, feel like I'm using an awful lot of spell slots. But
If you feel like it's too much of a waste of a resource, then I would save it.
What do we know about iron golems in general?
Specifically, I could tell you a few things about them. Golems in general are crafted from the spirits of elementals from the plane of Earth. That much I know. They usually follow the commands of their creator to the letter. Although, given that this is a city of the greatest, well, most talented arcane mind, shall we say, who's to say that this golem didn't have a mind of its own? It certainly seemed to maybe have something of a bit of a personality when we questioned it. Yet, it's difficult. I personally wouldn't recommend it. I feel as if we might have a better chance taking action rather than discussing.
I was trying to remember if it, any sort of weaknesses they have once we get into this fight.
Weaknesses in particular. I mean,
Weaknesses, resistances, anything that we need to worry about in terms of punching them out.
actually, there is one thing, particularly for iron golems. Iron golems are particularly rare and one of the most powerful forms of golems. Given that it doesn't have a head, it would be not as dangerous as the usual variety, but there is a particular thing to note in that they are immune to fire, and any sort of fire that you try and harm them with will instead heal them.
would it regrow a head?
No. Think of it this way. Does your healing word or cure wound spells regrow lost limbs?
Well, I don't know. Not those ones, but there are some spells I could learn.
Think of it in
And,
that way. Think of it as a fiery healing word.
Okay.
Well, that does make this difficult,
I mean,
but
trolls regrow their limbs.
Yes, I know you're quite fond of fire, Mr. Skinnock.
I do have alternatives, and most of those alternatives are shatter.
Which will also be quite effective considering its nature. Also, although I will say that most golems, given their magical nature, are resistant to magic by the nature of their creation. So your shatter will even out the odds, as it were.
Yeah. We got shatter, we got catapult, we got.
Well, they're not known for being very
we got
fast.
sanctuary.
I mean, I could try putting it in a bubble.
Is there a size limit on the bubble?
Let me look.
Because I need to double check.
I'm also looking to see if I have it. Oh, it's one of my domain things, so it's always prepared. Sphere. Creature of large or smaller.
Okay. Judging from its size that you saw, Skinnock, it was in fact a large creature.
Something.
If we really want to do, I could just try to put it in the bubble, and if that doesn't work, then you can go at it.
Fair enough.
That
If
way
we manage to surprise it, it might be a disadvantage. Or it might, not be as resilient if it's surprised. I don't know if that's a mechanic or not.
Considering it didn't notice you, there might still be a chance to.
Shall we try it?
Yeah, let's do this. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm still concentrating on invisibility, so you're still.
Oh yeah, I've just been invisibly talking the shit.
The whole time. You've been flipping people off, you didn't even notice. I'm not going to say
Oh yeah,
that's what
definitely.
you did. I'm not going to say that's what you did, that's what you didn't want to do, but I feel like that's something Skinnock would do in
Oh, I've been flipping people off. I've been making weird faces at people. It's been
Perfect.
Puck sees it all because he's got blind sight. He doesn't know anything.
And And the range is slightly increased because of your increased size as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, Hawks knows, but Hawks doesn't judge. You're having fun. Hawks is a having fun kind of guy since he went insane. So,
You're lucky it was hot.
Yeah.
So, do you wish to enact this plan then? That's good.
Yeah. It's Meepo's spell slot.
Alright.
Alright. Well, let's
Meepo's
go.
choice.
Ah, sorry, not that map. Not that map.
Ah, wrong map.
Wrong
teleported.
map. There we go.
Speaking of maps,
Yes, why don't I go ahead and plug the very wonderful, very talented Tessa Moorcroft on DM's Guild, with whom all these maps are possible and purchasable on DM's Guild, which you can not only purchase the maps based on Rime of the Frostmaiden, but also from Wild Beyond the Witchlight or even Curse of Strahd. All very, very well handcrafted and given by some little bit of dungeon draft as well. Very nicely done. And the music, which we will see in combat shortly if it is done, will be by Travis Savoy from his Winter's Wrath album. So, with that plug,
where is the golem at?
I will reveal the golem now. For some reason I put him on the map layer, not the token layer, but he is there.
Range. Okay, good.
I just
That
just
being the case.
adjust this right here. Hux is a big boy.
He
Yes,
sure
he is.
is.
The biggest of boys.
The biggest
wait,
boys.
am I actually outsizing the golem?
Yes!
Yes.
You're
You can
bigger than
pick
the
up-
golem.
Oh boy, okay. Well, that's something to take in.
This means that the golem could ride you into battle.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
By the rules, it's not wrong, but by, like,
All
it's
logic.
very wrong. All logic and,
Convention.
natural order, it is very wrong.
It's very, very strange. Anyway,
Anyway,
I guess I'm going to stealthily walk in, attempting to not make any noises or.
yeah, so for all of you who are going in, roll stuff. please.
I'll have to use Eldath's Bond again. Do we want to use my last use of Eldath's Bond, or do we just want to hold off on it for this? Huh?
It's up to you.
I think we have decent odds of being able to run away if this goes badly.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use it here.
Yeah.
So we'll just normal stealth without the Bond.
Okay, no, no.
Do we have advantage because he's blind?
I'm rolling disadvantage on his perception checks.
But Skanuk has advantage because he's invisible. So that's good.
There's that.
Yeah, because I'm generally sneaky freaky.
And natural 20 helps.
On his
Mhm.
previous perception check, with his 0 bonus to perception, I rolled a 5, which is how Skinnock managed to sneak through.
Yeah.
I'm alarmed that he has a 0 bonus, considering.
0 bonus and disadvantage.
And disadvantage. From being blinded.
Blinded by the light.
So, I will say, move for those who are stealthing. Pretty much everyone who rolled as well as they did can move in and place themselves on the map where they'd like before this happens.
Remember if I have disadvantage for my armor. Yes, I do. I have disadvantage on stealth for my armor. So I think Hawks, knowing that you're sneaking in, is going to wait out here for the time being.
Does your move speed stay the same? I guess
does,
your move
yes.
speed stays the same, but you have bigger area that you cover, so it's kind of.
It's like a dwarf. He's a bit squat. He's tall, but he's
What if he had squat nimbleness when he was tiny, and then by now or when he's not tiny, small, and then he kept it.
Hmm.
That would be impressive. Anyway. Ready? Anybody want to ready anything for if I fail?
Yeah, I will. I will be preparing to cast Shatter.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm casting Eldeth's Resilient Sphere on him.
All right. So
Is there a saving throw involved in that
It's
for
a
him?
saving throw for him, yeah.
that's a dexterity
Then I
saving throw.
will unsettling words him.
Okay, so I will consider this a surprise round, so I won't roll initiative just yet, even though technically you would roll initiative. Because if this works, we'll consider this creature out of combat if this succeeds. So it'll have a -3 to its saving throw. It has a -1, but it has advantage from its magical resistance.
It's minus
Does unsettling
4.
words work with things that can't? It can't hear you, right? If it's
It
Not
can't
got a head?
it can't hear you. Doesn't have a head. Does that specify that for unsettling words? Nope, it
I
doesn't
don't
specify.
think it does.
Its soul can feel my words.
Wow,
Fair enough.
that's a metal as fuck description. All right,
That's wonderful.
so I will adding this to this, so that is with a -4. So that's a 10 total. So you all watch as the form of the golem gets encased in this bubble, and it is now trapped in this bubble.
Well, we have free reign of this area for now.
Nice.
And how long does the spell last?
The spell lasts for 1 minute. We have a minute.
1 minute. Okay, so speed gather. I see.
We can at least check this back room.
That's 10 rounds of searching.
It is 10 rounds of searching. That's not a small amount of time per se. So I'm gonna have Velen in on this as well, and she's gonna have her zombie, or not her zombie, her skeleton fellow help her out. Hawks, you can get in on this action too. So everybody make investigation checks.
Investigate. Okay.
Invest.
Normal.
Okay.
Gunuk is on it.
We're like, this is close enough to robbing someone that it's activated his instincts.
It's activated all of your instincts. Your fight and your flight response all at the same time. Every instinct is activated.
Remember your trading.
Remember your trade.
But I think because the thing is bubbled, Hawks will come in and investigate as well.
Indeed.
As best he can at his size.
If we need to, we can still fight it after we're done looking. But
That
this way,
shouldn't-
it's not destroying things in the meantime.
That shouldn't have been a disadvantage.
Yeah. This does make it easy for you.
Let me see here. Okay. Let's see. Natural 1, so no, 27, 10, 12. I also have to roll for Valen. Yeah, okay. Those 3 things are what you're getting. Okay, so you try and grab whatever you can without really kind of looking at it, just because of time. As you're just kind of throwing things in the bag of holding, things that'll fit in there. Like it's like you find like a freeze that has like this image on it, but you could like, okay, that's probably worth something. You kind of throw it in there. You see like a small discus like globe, like okay, you throw it in there. You find appears like a nice little crown of some kind. Yeah, you throw it in there, but that's about as much as you can find before the spell is about to fade.
All right.
So you can either leave now or fight it as normal.
I'm gonna look over at the others and see which ones are like glancing over at the golem, like I want to run away, and which ones are glancing over at like I want to beat that thing up.
All right, who?
And
Okay.
ask for votes.
Yeah, who's
mentally.
in favor of beating up? Who's in favor of getting the heck out?
Think Hawks. Hawks's inclination is possibly to fight it. Yeah, I
Gonna-
think Hawks would be potentially interested in doing that.
All right, so 1 for fighting.
The head was pretty much docile towards us, yeah?
Well, it was just a head. It didn't really have any other thing it could do besides look at us.
It seemed like it was trying to do something, I thought, and it just couldn't.
Seem closer to that one.
Seemed what?
Seem closer to what Hawks is saying.
Well, we can always fix it after. I think, yeah, I think, like, part of me wants to run, but part of me also thinks it would be fun, and Skanak probably wants to take it apart and see how it works.
Valen is in favor of fleeing.
Right, and Scales is in favor of fleeing, so it then leaves it to me.
No,
Unless Scales...
I never said that I was in favor of fleeing. I just
Oh.
asked if it was docile.
I see. Well, it was swinging its sword at everything.
No, the head.
Oh, the head. The head's body was swinging its sword at everything, so I don't know.
It's currently acting apart from the head's will. We don't know. So,
We don't know
I will
that it's
do
acting
whatever
apart from the head's
demon
will.
wants. I am a neutral vote.
I think if we can destroy this thing, we can search better and not just salvage stuff. I think it's good that we grabbed like what we could to make sure it was out of the way, just in case something goes haywire. But now that we have that stuff out of the way, I think it makes sense to try and take it out and salvage.
I'm gonna do one last sweep past the golem while he's in the bubble to see if there's anything interesting around him so that he doesn't destroy it when we start fighting.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna step away just
I
before
will
it fades.
say, by that time that you're kind of getting close, it's literally about to expire. You would know that based on your spell. There wouldn't be any time to look in that area.
That's the reason that I went over this way, though, to get things out of the area around the golem. So would I have found anything?
Let's see, what did you roll? A 10? Unfortunately, no.
Okay, then I'd be over here.
Okay. And with that, everyone maintains their current position as the resilient sphere of Eldath fades, the golem is now free again. I would like everyone to roll initiative for me.
Golem is free, and everyone just immediately kicks the shit out of it.
just JoJo stomping, just like... Especially Hawks, because considering he's bigger than it. I just imagine Hawks just like leaning down over and just curb stomping it. Alrighty, and then Valen, of course. And then her skeleton friend will go right after her with its new handy-dandy crossbow. Oh, Valen, not bad at all. Perfection. Oh, wow, everyone's rolling nice. What's your dexterity modifier, Hawks?
I have a +1.
+1? Okay. That means Valen will go ahead of you then. Okay. So with that, let me change the music made by the wonderful and talented Travis Savoy from his Winter's Wrath album to switch it up a notch. So, first up, we have you, Scales.
I am going to take a page out of Hawks's book.
Okay.
And go Yeti.
Yeti mode activate. Let me get his token for you. You watch as the form of Scale shifts before you, And in his place is the Yeti.
Big.
Big. For space purposes, you're gonna have to like adjust right here, given the size of Hawks right here. I'll just move you to the side over there. Yep. But you are polymorphed.
I can just picture Hawks and myself like fist bumping each other as we walk towards the now.
This is like Godzilla and King Kong teaming up against Mechagodzilla.
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
Except Mechagodzilla is like half their size.
I love it. I love this.
It's just bullying.
And I pick up like a piece of rubble and just hold it in my hand, getting ready to yeet it.
Skinnock's gonna let them fight.
Let them fight.
Perfect. Sold it. Alright, so that is your turn skills. Unless you wish to move, you still have your movement.
I'm okay.
Perfect. Alright, you're just waiting to toss that rubble. Gotcha. In that case, that will mean it is Valin's turn. Let's see here. Ooh, you know what? Let's see. I will say, this particular building, there's no roof per se. It's kind of caved in slightly. So she is actually going to wander over here. It's like, Sir Hawks, do you wish to achieve greater heights and ascend?
What does that mean?
That's a weird paraphrase.
I'm going to make you fly.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Going once, going twice.
Yeah, hit me.
Alright, bam, she casts fly on you. You now have a 60-foot fly speed. Right, she scutters back this way. Oh, she scutters around, actually over here, behind this door. Skeleton friend pops out, shambles forward. Can't quite get into, hang on, move over. Can't quite into that space. He can move that way, but he will choose to stand beside this door on Villain's command. And he will take a crossbow shot at the golem. Good luck.
Crit.
Nah, unfortunately not a crit this time. You watch as it slowly the bones are like just kind of knocking and act a little rickety as it like slowly try and pulls the crossbow, and it just goes pew, tink, hits the arm of the golem, tink, just falls to the ground. Unfortunate, but that's fine. As we now have a now capable of flight Hawks Hagnar.
First thing I'm going to do is activate Giant's Might to get that additional Giant's Might die. You know, very important.
Very important.
Yeah, that's an extra D8 of damage too, so that's great. And yes, Hawks will fly. Have 60 feet of flight.
60 feet, yes.
So I can get to the other side of him right here pretty comfortably.
Very comfortably.
Like a big jump. Swoosh! I will land next to him. And I am giant. I will make a multi-attack with my axe. And I didn't realize this last session, but Hawks actually has a third attack now.
Oh boy!
I did not use his third attack against the giant hands, so now we have it. He does not have advantage right now, though.
50% more beating.
Though unless it can't see him because it has no head, in which case he
It's
might.
considered blinded, so yes, you have advantage.
Oh, this is going to be 16. That's not great.
A 16. As the axe clangs against the metal, it kind of bounces off, but you kind of go in for the secondary strike with the 28, which will in fact hit.
And a 27.
Right, 27 will also hit. No, I need to double check this.
And
yeah, okay.
I also need to check this as well. Okay, he is not an object, even though he's metal, so the adamantine axe does not do anything extra.
Yeah, unfortunately not for this, no.
And on top of all that damage, there's also a D4 for the Giant's Might, or D8 for the Giant's Might. So that's 19 slashing total.
19 slashing.
And it's magical slashing.
indeed. And with the magic nature of the axe, it doesn't seem to slice through the metal, but you watch as the metal dents inward for the impact of the blow. And it kind of like actually is pushed back around like almost like 2 or so feet just from the impact alone. Is that your turn, Hoxagnar?
Yes, that would be my turn.
Alright, Skanuk, Ratbiter, it is your turn.
Hey, I'm going to cast Shatter.
Indeed. Cast your
What is that? Is that a 10-foot radius?
10-foot radius, yes. About
Okay,
his
that's-
size on it. Well, around, well, a little bit bigger than him, actually, but still.
But there. So like there, not hitting Hawks. Hopefully not damaging anything too
Yeah.
badly.
All it would really damage would be the kind of like the structure to the side. But it was already pretty smashed in anyway from the golem, so it doesn't really hurt the chances of anything being damaged, per se.
Oh, good.
So, with that, go ahead and roll the damage, and I will roll the saving throw, which is a straight roll because it's an inorganic creature, but it has magic resistance.
Oh, that will be.
That's a con.
Please,
save.
23 damage.
That's an 11, so that will be a failure.
Yeah. So that'll be 23 thunder damage.
23 thunder damage. All right, not bad at all. You can watch as you are laying a thorough beating into this creature as the cacophonous bang erupts from the side of the creature. You watch as just as its front was being dented, now its back is being dented inward as well. So, is that your turn, Skanuk?
For my next trick, Force Ballista.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
Dealing 8 force damage.
All right.
No, none of that 6.
And it gets pushed back 5 feet. Technically, it would be like right here, but Hawks is occupying that space, so it's like right here. All right. You hear a solid clang. As with the bolt of force, it knocks the golem into the wall, knocking down what was left of it, leaving a solid golem-shaped hole in the wall,
Oh yeah.
echoing from way, way back in the caves. Alright. In that case, do you have any movement you want to use, Skin Up? You good where you are?
I should be okay.
Fair
Thanks,
enough.
words.
Fair enough. Meet Bomolo then.
Nobody seems hurt. It's not coming after me. I don't feel like spending any resources on this. I think I'll just dodge.
Fair enough.
Have at 'em, boys.
Alright, with that, it is now the golem's turn.
Handling.
Fitting that I was last in the initiative order, given its slower speed. It is going to, as it pushes you back, Hawks, it brings out that thick and heavy iron blade. And as it swings down towards you, it will try and make 2 attacks against you. However, it is blinded, so it does have disadvantage to hit you.
Alright.
However, because of the greatness, like how big the blade is, it has a pretty high to hit chance. We'll see what happens though. So let's see. 2 attacks. First one was a natural 1, which will automatically miss. Second one is a 19.
I have a 21 AC, so it will not hit.
Right. Shung clang, shung clang. The sword tries to match against your shield, but you kind of knock it back. It is unable to land a solid blow against you, as it is just swinging wildly, trying to land something, to find purchase on something, but is unable to find that purchase. Only that it senses that you are somehow nearby, but it cannot hit you. So, unfortunately for the golem, that is its turn. Which means, Scales, it is your time to shine.
Go
Scale
bananas.
jumps right over here, rock in hand, and as he lands, the rock comes smashing against the golem's collarbone.
It's like a. I would say it's like a mantle almost, like where the head would be. You know, like a. You know how sometimes people have those cloaks, that kind of like drape over the shoulders. It's like a iron collar of some kind. It's almost like a collarbone. So it fits. Let's see here. And here comes the giant fist with the natural 20 to hit.
Ooh.
I feel like almost every time,
Wow.
almost every time the ape has come out, you've either landed a natural 20 or done so much damage that it's been ridiculous. Now this is. Hold on. Oh wait. Hold on. I need to double check something. Is this damage considered magical?
DM discretion.
I'm so sorry, buddy. As the fist.
Half damage.
It is in fact. Hold on. It is in fact immune to the damage. As the fist clangs against the metal, the golem feels nothing.
Ugh.
I am so sorry.
I shake my hand and just like
Horror.
kind of scoot back.
This is where that Stonebone spell from Plangia would come real handy.
Are you
Yeah.
sure I can't just like temporarily hand the ape my axe to take the swing with?
I mean, for the second attack, I'll allow it.
Here, actually, yeah. If you grab the axe, I'll fight with my javelin for the rest of the Bloodfang javelin. That's also a magical weapon.
It's technically
So,
about
yeah.
the same size. It's a huge sized axe technically, so it's wieldable by the giant ape. Not for the nat 20 though. I'm so sorry. I'm so sad that didn't go through. I apologize. But that does mean you have your second attack, which you can do.
What's the damage and what's the damage?
I'll tell you what. I'll make this an improvised attack with the axe. If you're basically using as like if you're punching with the axe instead, I'll let you use your giant fist damage because it'll be using the axe as like a bludgeon. I'll let you do that.
Works for me.
Okay, 24. Still respectable amount of damage. And this one, as you kind of like look at the axe, you kind of go ook, and you just using the kind of like holding on with the handle, you use your fist and just punch into the golem with the other, landing a solid blow to the chest, which does in fact manage to clock the golem squarely enough for 24 points of bludgeoning damage.
My wife just pointed out that King Kong wielded a magical axe in the movie and
Yep.
used it to good efficiency against the giant iron enemy.
See, it's all coming together.
It's all.
We are reenacting the entire movie right now.
The gift that keeps
Yeah.
on giving.
It writes itself.
It writes. It's literally writing itself.
Somebody was time traveling and watched our YouTube thing.
Did someone use the
and then
obelisk?
they're like,
Like poetry. It rhymes.
Original story.
it's
do
a
not
rhyme.
steal.
Dude, donut steal. All right.
It's not original necessarily.
I know. Anyway, Scales, is that your turn?
Because this is
Yes.
Wizards.
All right. In that
Got
case, it will
great
be Valin's
characters.
turn. She's concentrating on fly. She doesn't want to get too deep in the fray to avoid losing concentration. She just used a 3-level spell, so let's
We're
see
not
here.
profiting off of this story, so nobody who does King Kong or Godzilla can come at us, and wizards can't come at
It's
us.
fine. It's fine. Don't even worry.
Just
about it.
a disclaimer.
It's fine. It's fine. In any case, I will say Oh, here's something she can do. Yeah, she'll just do her cantrip. That's what she'll do. She'll just make a chill touch attack. She's want to conserve resources. Oh, with a 21 to hit. And the magic resistance doesn't affect attack rolls either, so she doesn't have disadvantage. So, that means 21 will hit, and the creature will take...
I have a feeling this thing is resistant and or immune to necrotic as well, though.
It is not either immune or resistant to necrotic damage.
If we interpret that as, like,
Either
rust
rusting...
damage at that point.
Yeah, it's definitely... Think of it, it's basically entropy. Think of it that way. As a skeletal hand crunches, almost on like the iron arm that it is using to try and like hold its sword, the sword arm kind of like begins to crunch inward slightly, and you will notice an oxidized layer of rust begin to form. If it could look down, it would, but I don't. You don't think it notices, given that it doesn't have a head. It'll take that damage. Then we'll scurry back into place, and the skeleton will fire its light crossbow. So let's hope this one will land. Get another
Sure
nat
it doesn't
20.
matter even if it does.
Nah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be doing anything, even if it hit. Upon seeing the ape's fist connecting and not working, she'll say, "All right, thank you, minion. That's enough. No need to waste any more." So the skeleton will bow out for now. That does mean, though, it is now your turn again, Hux.
Okay. So, Scales has the axe, but I still have the Bloodfang Javelin.
You do.
So I will draw that Javelin, and it's not even that much weaker, plus it has cold damage tacked on. So it's not even that much worse off. Actually, I would say that it's probably on par. So yes, I will just swap to the Javelin. I already have advantage. So anything else I could just activate here for the time being. Just to hit him a little bit more. I'm tempted to use the Enlarge Reduce to enlarge. But I also want to save that so that I can actually get into buildings every once in a while. So
You have a good number of uses of that, though.
You can use it 10 times before it has to be reset.
And is it an action to use?
It would let you cast the spell, so I think yes.
It would be an action, yeah.
Okay, well then I'm not going to do that.
yeah,
I'm
well,
just going to... yeah, I'm just going to bop him with my Javelin. So, 3 bops with the Bloodfang Javelin. 24.
Okay, 24 will definitely hit, which means...
11 magical piercing and 2 cold, and then a d8 for Giant's Might. So...
It fails the con save. You watch as frost begins to form over the arm, slowing its movement.
Oh, this poor thing. But yeah, so that'll be 16 piercing and 2 cold from that first one.
Alrighty.
A 19.
A 19... Now, remind me, wait, hold on. Did you guys have a Emboldening Bond up, or...?
No.
You did
No,
not?
they didn't.
Okay, just double checking. Just to be sure. The 19, unfortunately, will just miss, though.
That's fine. Because I crit.
Excellent. Oh, hold on. I typed in that in the wrong... That's fine.
So, yeah,
That was the wrong amount as well.
That's 14 piercing and 7 cold. Unfortunately, I can only use the Giant's Might damage once per turn, but that's still, 21 more damage.
It's a significant amount, and the creature, now you could watch as parts of it just begin to start breaking off. You just watch as a finger begins to fly off. Is getting closer to being completely totaled.
Wait, did my turn skip?
Hang on, I think it might have actually skipped your turn. I don't know why it did. Wait, no. You did the. Did you? No. You did the giant fist attack, and then Hawks had to. Right? Am I wrong?
Your first turn, you polymorphed. Your second turn, you leapt in and attacked.
I thought he polymorphed before the thing came out.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
No.
Okay, no. I know. Valen threw me off. She was at the bottom of the list, and I'm like, what happened between the golem's turn and...
It happens. Like, I kind of blank out sometimes with stuff like that as well. And it's a problem because I'm the DM.
Ow!
Cat?
Yeah, he's been sitting on my lap real nice, and I've been petting him. And he just, like, activated and chomped my hand.
How?
Rude.
Bad kitty.
Cat activated. Ah, can't.
They really do. They just, like, they go into a different mode of being. Sometimes. They're real...
It's the sleep agent programming.
Seriously. Alright, was that your turn, Hawks?
Yes, it was.
Alright, then Skinnook, it is now your turn.
Ow. Well, Shatter honestly seems like a bad idea. Just so can't help but think it. So I'm just going to I'm just gonna like grab a chunk of debris from like maybe around here-ish. Something that'll like a big rock or something that looks like it'll actually hurt him. And I'm going to cast Catapult on it.
Okay.
And yeet it at him. Because Catapult can be cast on things at range.
Indeed it can. It's one of the cool things about the spell.
Which is, yes, still baffling to me.
Alright.
All this time later.
With advantage.
Unlike Shatter.
With advantage and a -1,
Yeah.
that's an 11.
Okay, that's not enough to beat my save. Oh my god, Catapult's going to hit.
Oh my.
Yeah, boy.
This is not supposed to happen. That would be
No.
21 damage.
Owie.
Just right to the kneecap.
Yeah, right to the
Yeah.
kneecap indeed, as it almost takes it clean off, as it almost bends backward just from the impact of the object
Whoa.
itself, magically enchanted by the nature of your spell.
Luckily it's iron.
Yep. And then follow that up with a Force Ballista. It worked! It worked!
Oh,
29 to hit.
yes.
That should not have a golden bond. But go,
28.
It still hits.
Yep, 28. Dealing 15 force
Oh
damage.
my gosh. He's still up? But barely.
Artillerists are kind of terrifying.
As
We
you
are
guys
gods
just
among
relentlessly
kobolds.
bully this golem into submission, it is being
Yeah.
banged up to heck and back.
I feel like I shouldn't have shield as well as all this.
It's pretty great. Like artificers, to be fair, artificers to start with are kind of rough, but like once they get to the later
Mhm.
levels, they have so much going for them.
Perfect.
In any case, is that your turn?
Yeah, that'll be my turn. I'll definitely.
All right then, Meepo, it's your turn again.
Is there anything interesting in this room? Kind of like...
Sure.
It's just starting to loot.
Make a either perception or investigation, your choice.
Okay. Mipu's like, I'll let them have their fun. I'm gonna check for anything because I didn't find anything in the other room I was looking in. Perception or investigation?
Yeah, your choice.
Yeah.
23. That's quite good. Let me see. Let me roll something. Unfortunately, this room seems to have lost anything of value. It seems like at one point in time,
Shame.
there are a bunch of pigments and paints of all different kinds of varieties here, but they are currently just smashed across the floor in a disgusting Jackson Pollock-esque work.
Do any of the pigments or anything seem like they're usable or anything that I could like salvage a
I
little
would
bit?
I would say there are 3 jars of paint left that are
Paint.
somewhat salvageable.
Colors?
Oh, orange, because of course.
Orange?
Orange,
Yes.
blue, and red.
Okay. We'll just add orange, blue, and red paint.
Okay. There you go. That's what you find.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's my turn.
Alright, so it is now the golem's turn again. It's going to attack those that attacked it. They're in its vicinity. It's going to attack Hawks once and Scales once. So first, with disadvantage against Hawks. A 24 to hit Hawks.
I am going to use a runic shield to cause it to re-roll that.
Okay. A reroll then it is. 28.
Okay, so it still hits either way.
Okay, you'll take 22 points of slashing damage as the sword manages to slash across your form. A not insignificant amount of damage. And the other one, you're going to you watch as it rears back its fist and goes to punch you just as you punched it, Scales. Also with disadvantage. Saved you from a natural 20. That's a 19 to hit your form.
13 hits.
Okay, that's going to be 23 points of bludgeoning damage as the fist clocks you right in your yeti face, almost knocking off one of your horns, crunching it inward. That'll be a con save from you. With a DC 11 on this one. You're fine. And with that, I believe that was the golem's last hurrah. As with that punch, as the fist is still connected to your face, you, Scales, are now ready to act. As you bring forth the axe, how would you like to destroy or incapacitate this golem?
I'm going to take the axe and I'm going to just completely trash his middle area, removing his torso from his legs. His arms are still animated, and his legs just kind of fall to the ground. So now he's like the two brothers in Full Metal Alchemist in the fifth lavatory. Who
Two
have
pieces of armor. Yeah.
2 pieces of armor. So the legs are inanimate, the head is animated, and the arms are animated, but they can't hurt anything.
Gotcha. So as its limbs scatter and its torso falls to the side, the golem suddenly just begins to stop moving. And with that, the golem has been defeated. The combat draws to a close. So, the Lynn kind of peers around the corner. So, I think that spell worked out nicely in your favor. Kind of like nodding at you, Hawks.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
around
help me
an
jump
hour
in
more
and-
of that left, so feel free to use that.
Hawks there's no roof here, right?
No roof here.
Hawks just starts moving straight up into the air.
Alright, you do so.
Oh, no.
Yep, there he goes. Zoop.
I must go now. My people need me.
So, as you're up there, Hawks, I want you to make a perception check for me.
Perception. That shouldn't be with advantage, so it's just the 15.
Just the 15? That's fine. You might still notice this anyway. Oh yeah, you probably would. I just need to double check what part of the map this is in that you would notice this. Because it's about that time. It is. I will say, as you begin to head upward, you get a much better view of the city. And you begin to see, you kind of look around and you notice that there are several towers. I pointed this out before, but there are in fact 7 or so towers, each with a marking that represents a school of magic around the city. You do notice those right off the bat, and I'll mark those at a later time. But what immediately catches your attention is that you are not the only one currently in flight around the city. You watch as 2 gargoyles, one of them that you remember from before, the one you interrogated as the one belonging to Avarice. It is currently making its rounds around the city to the southern section down this way, around 500 or so feet away. But it seems to be heading towards a specific location. If I can find what that location is. It's always trouble finding things in this. There's so many different places to go. Okay, it's that particular one, so it is 28. Okay. It is heading down this direction. It seems to be heading towards this spire of some kind down here, with a floating glass dome in the center, towards the top of the spire. But that is what you notice. So it seems that you are no longer the only explorers in Yithrin. Avarice has found her way into the city.
Can we just go kill her?
I mean, we could.
I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it. Velen was just kind of like say a cold cut off out of the corner.
It'd be nice if there was a more peaceful way.
We've killed a god. We've completely trounced that iron golem. She's literally smaller than both of them. I don't know.
I feel like using physical size to denote combat power would be somewhat ironic.
I mean, he was just a giant yeti.
True.
Do we have much of a reason to fight her right now, though? I mean, aside from the fact that she might get to stuff before we do, or like...
Well, if she gets the stuff before we do, we can just take it from her.
Well, not if it's knowledge in that case, Velen will pipe up.
That's true.
If she knows any secrets about the city that she's uncovered during the little time she spent here, that might be information that she is hoarding for herself that might be lost to us.
How much more time do I have of flying?
Oh, 40 minutes?
Alright, everyone, hop on my back. Let's go get her.
Hey.
Not what I was expecting.
Huge kobold flying through the city with a squad on his back.
Just the kobolds in the squad.
Would I be
Squad
okay?
holes.
So that's 3 small creatures,
One medium
And
creature.
then medium.
2 medium creatures
Oh, yeah.
because there's a zombie as well.
She can. She doesn't want to necessarily, but she can leave the skeleton behind if the group thinks it should be.
She could order the skeleton to walk through the place towards where we're going.
It won't get there in time by the time
Right.
you get there, but it will get there eventually.
Well,
Well,
I was
he
gonna
could
say
hold
I could
two
just
of us.
use an enlarge
To make
and
yourself
be
gargantuan.
and then I can carry everyone. Yes. So yes,
Yeah.
Fox is going to
Okay.
go full Godzilla. Use another usage of the ring to go large or to go gargantuan.
This is absolutely
Titan
insane, and I am
Hawks.
all for this. This
And
is
fly through the city.
flying through the city. You know you have to survive.
Hello there, Avarice. Nice to meet you.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's us, Velen, the skeleton, and the cannon,
Yes.
right?
Still probably enough.
I think that's still. I would assume that's still fine. It's a 16. Like we're talking 16 squares of hawks.
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. I have to do some math here. So you cannot dash because it's a magically given fly speed. So it's just not moving 60 feet each turn. And the distance it would take to get there. You are right here, around 900 or so feet. So 900 divided by 60.
900 feet. That's less than a football field.
The map isn't exactly to scale. There's a bit of leeway here.
Okay, so if it's 60 feet of turn, imagine that's 600 feet a minute.
What if these are yards instead of feet?
So even with that, that's like 5 minutes top.
Yeah. 5 minutes tops, yeah. Yeah, you could just fly right over there.
And I'll still have like 55 minutes of being
Super Hawks.
gargantuan.
So I'm now loving the fact that I made Hawks as the token to represent the party in this situation, given the fact that he's
glorious.
huge.
He's about that size on this.
He's about that size of the map.
Kaiju hawks.
He's
Wait, and if we can travel this easily, then as long as Valen keeps some spell slots for flight, we have an easy way of getting in and around the city. We can set up camp on the ice bridge without having to worry about getting around.
I'm all for that.
It's a 3rd level spell.
That's a 3rd level spell.
Like that's not too bad as
Then
it goes.
We have a really easy way of getting around this city then. So, yeah.
The Hawks bus. All aboard the Hawks bus.
Where we dropping, boys? Nah, I ruined it.
Apparently on avarice.
So, yes,
I could see this as a a
So yeah.
battle royale map.
Oh no.
Boom.
So
And the storm is like the ice caving in.
So there is something you notice. You notice that it appears this large spire, this tower is more than 100 feet tall, and the rotating, almost glass chamber seems to be hovering above its ruined summit. 4 pointed kind of pillars clutch the chamber's walls, giving it the appearance of a colossal floating crown. The chamber, as you're getting closer now, seems to be rotating clockwise. It seems. You get the sense at one point in time, this might have at one point been some sort of dock. You see evidence of ruins, like ruined vehicles near the bottom. Those sky ships that you had seen earlier in the cave. This might have been, given the context clues, maybe a dock of some kind for them. It seems all entry into the dome currently is not available at the moment, as you can see. And, well, because you're just kind of floating that direction, let me find the
map?
The map for that. One second. I don't know if I actually... Okay, no, I did. Hang on, I need to... So it's down here. Let me get your tokens, hang on. I didn't expect this, but this is fantastic.
You're the one that cast fly on him.
So if you ever wonder why most D&D games don't go past 10th level,
This is why?
I mean, we're 11th level, right? Yeah.
Yeah?
You hit level 11 and things just get really weird really quickly.
Yep.
But that's where things get fun too, because you get to do all the
Very
really weird
much true.
stuff.
Also, someone I've completely forgotten about. The penguin, Kingsport, has been silent this whole time. He's just like, so,
Oh
man,
yeah.
you guys are wild.
Just having a good time.
Aren't you glad you came along with us?
You know, it's much better than pulling around a rusty old cart. So, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good right now. Rah! Just put me down somewhere safe if you can. It's just, I don't want to be a bother,
Oh, you're not a bother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, anyway, gosh. I have to put Hawks' token in the back, put everyone on top of Hawks' token. And he's gargantuan now, so I have to increase his token even more so. It's great. So,
Wondrous.
let me show you the map here. So
I've been all at the size of the slide.
you guys are currently at the top part right here. I need to. You do.
He's big.
We see her in there.
You definitely see her in there, but let me move some stuff around real quick. Bada bing. If the reveal tool, please work with me. I would appreciate that. So yeah, she's in there, all right. Currently, she's just flipping through a couple books, rummaging around what appears to be a very lovely lounge of some kind. She kind of pops in like a few little treats occasionally into her mouth as she watches the raven that's on her side just kind of goes. "Ah, ah." She looks up.
I knock on the glass.
She looks up. Tunk, 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 tunk. She freezes.
She can't see us probably until we peek over the sides of Hawk.
You guys are kind of like, you're basically, Hawk's kind of flying Captain Planet style a little bit. Just make sure you guys don't fall off. So you're mostly visible. She doesn't move. You feel as if she's processing the situation with which she's found herself in.
Hey, can you hear us through the glass?
She slowly gives a curt nod.
Okay. Well, how are you doing? You know, I know we had a little bit of a trouble with your invisible gargoyle earlier. But, maybe you'd want to talk about it, instead of sending minions to spy on us, you know?
I like your start, Hawks.
Interesting. That does seem to catch her attention. She kind of like brushes herself off, and you can actually hear her through the glass, clear as day, despite the assumed thickness of it. And she will call out, "Very well. I'm interested in talking, but kind of snaps her fingers. She needs to be out of the picture. I don't want her present for our conversation. If you want to talk, I'm willing to talk, but not with her around."
Well,
Of course she would say that. "Hey, Avarice, you're a hack." Kind of bristles at that.
I'm pretty sure she's a tiefling, not a hack. And you're a human, right?
Stop. Just stop. Philip will say.
No. Hack is a wizard subclass.
Oh! I didn't realize that. Ah, yes, the arcane tradition of hacking.
I
Well,
didn't know that either. Good thing we have you with us, huh? Skinnet.
Hmm?
I said it's a good thing we have you with us, because I didn't know that either.
Yep. Just a fount of totally reliable information.
And could I ask why you don't want her participating?
because I, for one thing, can pay double whatever she's paying, and I will be a much more trustworthy and more reliable ally than she is, I can assure you. No doubt you've met, no doubt you've become very familiar with her bristly personality. Very un-ally-like, very much like a bitch.
I don't think we're getting paid.
Oh, even worse,
I was-
I can pay you a substantial amount of money.
I think the implication of us not getting paid is that we're allies for more than, like, resources and money.
Ugh, don't
And
tell me it's
therefore,
friendship.
No, not really.
I mean, she is bristly, but we traveled with her while she was possessed by the ghost of another wizard for a while, and kind of after making amends after that, there is a little bit of like
Companionship?
guarded friendship.
Despite that, we can only have a conversation if she is not around.
We were having a pretty good one with her here.
Well, I am not interested in speaking if she is present. Or, an alternative, I wish to speak with her and her alone, in that case, if you are unwilling to speak to me.
Well, if that's the case, let's let her make the choice.
Villain will kind of breathe in very deeply. Very well, I'll agree to a meeting with her. How do I get in? Ah, simple. I have to let you in. She will kind of like, you will see it, watch as Avarice kind of heads to this kind of central dais, it seems. It kind of like puts her hand on this little globe. She will kind of like twist something around. Now, you lot stay here, and I'll... Villain, jump off. I promise I'll cast something on you. I don't know if I trust that. Villain, please.
That was just the most suspect way to phrase that. Good lord, man.
Ox will grab Valin and like gently place her down.
Alright. As you do so, you'll watch as Avarice kind of begins to mutter some arcane words as Villain will gently drift down as Avarice casts a Featherfall spell.
Don't forget your skeleton.
Which the skeleton is also falling gently down.
Don't forget your penguin.
I am staying up here, thank you very much. I am not going down there.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be funny if you went as well, and it was like half the group was there anyway, even though she told us not to. Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
that would be funny, but I mean, is that what you want? I mean, I do owe you one, I mean.
No, don't put yourself in harm's way for a joke.
It could be very funny, though.
I think she can hear you still.
Yes, I can still hear you, thank you.
I think the joke's passed, too.
Very well. It has. And as Villain drifts down, you will watch as an entryway begins to open up from the base of the spire, and Villain will ascend upward. It takes her some time to get to the top. But you will see as Villain kind of like walks in, seemingly from a hatch that opens up from the bottom of the spire. Or rather, no, that's not... Oh, wait, hold on. I misread that. You actually watch as Villain actually apparates inside of this particular dome, seemingly by some magical means. And you will watch as they begin to converse with each other, but you watch as Avarice touches something on the sphere, and the glass that's surrounding the orb begins to frost slightly. You can still see their forms, but all sound is muffled within the sphere.
I've just had like a terrible, wondrous realization.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to have like a clear line to an object, and I don't even necessarily need to see an object to cast catapult on it. So I'm going to be paying very close attention because I can still contribute to this if this becomes a fight, and that is amazing.
I was gonna say I only need line of sight to targets to Cloud Rune.
Mhm.
So if someone does decide to do something that they shouldn't be doing, I can potentially
Yep.
Runic Shield or Cloud Rune.
Yep. All right.
So
Let me start
We're gonna-
looking at my stuff.
we're gonna hover out here and watch this.
Mhm.
Okay.
I still have Eldest telepathic bond going with Lilin.
You do, yes. Beautiful,
So
beautiful,
we're just gonna listen in anyway.
It's perfect, it's perfect.
Never fight kobolds in a game of wits.
Never fight a game of kobolds when death is on the line.
Okay.
Alright,
Well,
so, in any case, the
listening to the
conversation,
conversation.
the conversation continues for a good little while. And with that time that's spent in there, occasionally, Valin will funnel you some juicy information that Avarice reveals to her. It seems that Avarice is, in fact, hoarding some information that she doesn't feel comfortable sharing until a deal of some kind is made. But what she does tell Valin is that she is definitely not alone. She has a retinue of around 20 or so of her closest cult fanatics who are at her disposal and are currently searching the ruins for any information or any wonderful, magical, arcane secrets to bring back to her. In addition, her gargoyles are currently scouting the area, and are currently have some of the information needed to complete the arcane octet to reach the inner part of the spire. So she is already part of the way into getting that information, of which she is not going to share that information just yet. In
How many of
addition,
those cult fanatics are still alive at this point, though?
it's a good point too, considering what's going on in the city.
You know what? I'm gonna shitpost.
Yeah.
Um,
I keep hitting my microphone.
so the purple fruit, the charm that you rolled for me,
Yeah.
it was a charm of sending.
Yeah.
One use of sending has an action.
Yeah.
I am going to cast sending on Avarice and say, "How's the conversation going?"
We are monsters.
And I am absolutely using that up. I no longer have that because I have used it to say, "So, how's the conversation going? Sharon, you got any useful information? Is she being friendly with you?" You know, whatever of that I can fit into.
Okay.
Probably not that we have any useful information, but like, is she being friendly with you? Yeah, whatever I can fit into 25 words. I'm basically just going to go out of my way to annoy her.
Okay. I will say this. There is a bit of a pause, and you see Avarice's head tilt to the side.
I wave.
Her head doesn't fully turn your direction, but there is a general gesturing of that she recognizes what you've just done. You get a response back mentally. We're having a wonderful conversation. But should this conversation not go the way I want to discuss things with you all. And that's what you get back. That is all you get.
I will share this with the group.
Well, at least
So we
she's
kill her.
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to side with Belin on any of this. I know she's offering to pay us, but she's also, like, started a cult. And,
yeah. The
like,
cult thing's got me.
And honestly, like,
spied on us and also
Yeah.
treated us like our loyalty is based on money and
Yeah.
yeah.
she thinks we're minions, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. I also,
Also-
don't think she knows what we did with Arl, and if she
Yeah.
does, she's not treating us like that's the case.
Yeah. Also, full disclosure, there were precisely 3 people who failed me when I attempted to join the Arcane Brotherhood, and 2 of them are unfortunately dead already. But she's the last one, and I want my damn vengeance.
I can see that.
Velen funnels you some more information.
I made notes to make them rue the day.
Velen tells you, she wants me to ditch you all and join her side.
You're really gonna do that?
I considered it, but I would only do it if you want me to.
There are probably advantages to that, if we're being completely honest with your motives versus our motives as a group. But think about what we've been through together so far, and how useful we've been. I mean, we killed a god, for God's sakes.
Also, devil worshiper.
Yeah,
True.
there's that too.
There is
We
that,
do
yes.
have some information on well, we ran into a devil a while back when we were still trying to take down Arl. And it was what was it? Can I remember what that one that was in the Dwarven Fortress was?
Yes, I believe it was a barb devil. You had seen its form shift away from its illusion. It was a barb devil.
It was like all spiny and pokey. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Not to me in particular. It wouldn't surprise me if they were somehow connected, although it's difficult to say. I don't know much about the situation. But that's not all she's telling me. She's telling me that she has actually, well, not her personally, but her gargoyles have actually seen Iriolathus wandering about the city. He is active. What's more, though...
he's not like in a tower or something?
No, he's not in his tower. He is actively looking around the city. What's interesting, though...
we're probably going to want to be flying then.
What's interesting, though, is that she tells me that, if my guess is correct, Iriolathus... And this makes sense as well. Liches, when they ascend to their newly granted forms, they require souls to feast upon to maintain their undead form. If they don't have any souls to feast upon, to add to their phylactery, which fuels their transformation into a lich, their forms crumble away, leaving only the skull behind. And yet they are not much less powerful than they were as a lich. It seems he's regressed into a demi-lich, I believe is what it's called. Still active, still very powerful, but wandering through the city. And, of course, meaning very dangerous as well.
Have you told her the part about us killing a god yet?
I'm getting to that. I'm building up to it. I'm setting the scene. One moment. There is some time. I don't think she believes me.
I've told her which god?
I told her which god, and she still doesn't seem to believe me. She thinks I'm joking with her. Or if she thinks I'm joking with her, I think she believes that her patron will give her more of a blessing. The god will? I'm not sure. She's very overconfident, always has been. Stuck up, arrogant, overconfident, like me, but less agreeable.
To the group, but not telepathically. That's saying something.
Yeah.
She's definitely heard of you, though. That's the thing. She definitely knows that you're powerful individuals that are not to be messed with, but killing a god, she believes, is beyond you.
To be fair, she was weakened.
But that is also true. I mean, to be fair, when you tell someone you killed a god, do you believe them?
Depends on the person, I guess.
I mean, my instinct is no, automatically.
I mean, if someone told me that the great drow adventurer Driss Do'Urden faced off against a god and won, I would believe it hands down.
See, yeah, depends on the person.
Ah, yes, Trist. I've heard
What if
this
it was
story before.
Illustrate?
Difficult to say.
I mean, she's not really like a fighting one, you know?
And like,
Right. But would you doubt it based on like it being out of character for him to kill her?
Yes,
Fair enough.
but he probably could, but he wouldn't because he's a good guy.
So she's
Sort of.
So she's really pressing.
Edgy good guy.
She is pressing the proposed alliance between myself and her and the leaving you all behind. Should I take this offer, yes or no? I'm leaving that up to you to decide.
do you have a way of keeping yourself from getting like charmed by her? Because it seems like she's the type of person to do that.
I don't have any. Well, given the fact that I am magically inclined, I might have some proficiency in resisting certain mind-altering effects, but nothing in particular. Nothing in particular, no.
I mean, do you feel safer with her and a bunch of scrub cultists, or with us? Because I'm not gonna.
There's
I'm
a
not
genuine
gonna tell you-
pause.
I'm not gonna tell you what you should do, but like generally speaking, I wouldn't feel safer amongst a bunch of scrub cultists, especially when there's scrub cultists working for someone who, you know, kind of
Sure, where she's setting up
backstabby.
camp. Because if she's
Stick
setting
with
up camp
us.
in the city, I wouldn't stay with her at all.
That is true. If they're hanging around here, they're probably going crazy.
Very well. I'll reject your offer then. Alright. You can see the body language in the tower, because you're still able to see them. The body language of Avarice shifts to a more from a somewhat casual leaning back against one of these lounge tables to a much more leaning forward, very much taking stock of the situation sort of pose. Velen will kind of stand kind of backward, but doesn't seem to be anything hostile going on necessarily. But the demeanor, the tone has shifted inside this dome. Like, she's definitely not happy with that answer, but she isn't willing to push the issue. The thing is, though, now she's telling me to tell us to leave the city within the hour, or she will bring the full might of her patron and the cult against us.
Did she say who her patron was?
Apparently, someone by the name of Levistus, I believe. I think I've read tomes about it, that he's one of the archdevils that lord over the Nine Hells, I believe.
So we get to kill another god.
Not
Well,
really a
not,
god.
Not a well, technically,
So weaker than a god.
technically weaker, I suppose. I'm not sure if weakness is something you would do to describe an archdevil, a lord of the Nine, but technically the truth.
I mean, can she just summon him, though? Just because she's
Summon
working
him,
for him
no.
doesn't mean she can... So then she doesn't have the full force of him.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not one good tester, are you?
Yeah?
Plus,
Think
I'm all
that was
alone.
okay.
I'm all alone
I'm
with her
kind
in
of
here.
curious.
I'm all alone with her in here. I'm not going to test her.
Oh no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't test her. No.
We definitely could.
I think we are.
Yeah, she said she wanted to talk with us if her negotiations with you didn't work. I hit her with ascending earlier, and that was what she said. So, we might rough her up under the pretense of getting into a private conversation outside of your earshot.
Very well, and should I tolerate that? Should I just let it happen?
Well,
I mean, well, actually, no, you could just tell me because we have the bond. So it's pointless in trying to keep... I love you all. I mean, you're all wonderful. You're very talented and have a wonderful array of abilities at your disposal.
Aww.
I think she's softening up to us.
No, I'm certainly not. I mean, yes. Damn it. She's all doing this mentally, by the way. This is all just like inner her surface thoughts, like all bubbling up against her will in some cases.
Okay, so we'll talk to her next. And by talk to her, I mean, like, kick the crap out of her.
Alright, and I will exit the dome. You watch as she kind of like wanders towards a section over here, and her form will disappear. And Avarice will turn to you lot now. Now we can have a conversation, as the frosted nature of the dome will shift back to its clear, transparent image.
Can we come in there with you?
Absolutely not. And have you all pounce on me at once while I'm alone and undefended? Absolutely not. We're
I
talking
mean,
here.
I could go in there by myself.
We're talking now, and I'm feeling protected and adequate here.
So, what do you want to say?
So, let's chat then. And she will, just kind of waltz up and just stride and just waltz to this chair and just sit down very comfortably, leaning back on it. Kind of like she pours herself a bottle of wine she kind of had stashed back behind her, and just begins to kind of like sip a glass. So, I hear you all killed a god. That's impressive.
Well, it was
Yeah,
hawks and scales. Go ahead.
You haven't felt the temperature change outside?
I felt a little bit of a shift, perhaps, but, I don't think it's anything caused for anything special. I mean, could have been caused by anyone. Who's to say it was you?
It wasn't Lovistus.
10 towns?
Those yokels like to say many things, few of which are true.
How
To
about
keep
the,
all 10 towns' story the same?
how about that Chartling dragon? You ever run into one of them?
I did, actually. Not in person, because I believe we evacuated thanks to a message that we received, which, by the way, I should thank you for that. I appreciate the warning ahead of time. It's allowed me to keep some of my reserves handy in case of situations where I feel threatened.
You're
Well,
welcome.
you know who stopped the dragon in the end, right?
I'm aware of that, yes. You all are very skilled, which is why you're out there and I'm in here, in case you decide that I am a threat.
I don't think it's a matter of deciding, it's a matter of acting on our decision.
Which, if I'm learning of you, you might be a bit impulsive in that decision. In that action, I should say. Which is why I am back here.
Is that what you wanted to talk about?
No, it's not. I'm simply clarifying the situation. But I want to establish trust so that we're not threats to each other. I just wanted to say, from the bottom of my heart, I am dreadfully sorry that you had to deal with that villain character. You know, she often
I'm telling
cheated
Belinda.
she often cheated on my tests back at the academy. She always got the worst marks. You know, she uses her family name and over actual talent, you know? Dreadful shame, really. Shame she doesn't have too much actual skill in the arcane arts. Not nearly as talented as I am. And you watch as she waves her hand. You watch as an arcane hand, very similar to the ones that you had seen before, will appear right beside you and just kind of wiggle its fingers at you. I've mastered a bit of the arcane a bit faster than she has. I'm not a pushover like she is.
Wait a minute, what's her family name? Is she from some special family or something?
The
I didn't know about that.
The Harpella family, actually.
I mean, I
Yeah,
heard
well,
her
I mean,
last
that's her
name, but
like, who the hell are they?
Oh, they're apparently a very well-respected, very rich family in Luskin. Always sticking their fingers, always trying to gain influence by by nepotism, in fact. Always trying to get people in places through family,
Yeah.
you see.
Did she start a cult?
No, that's beside the point.
I don't think
Is
so.
it?
You're listing her bad parts, and that's what we
You
know
see,
about
I
her
don't
now.
think a cult is necessarily a bad thing. We represent a bit of a family in a way. We all share a similar mindset, similar goals, all like-minded in
those-
our focus, all through a similar patron.
And those goals are?
Knowledge. Or
To
rather,
what end?
to what we desire.
Which is?
Whatever we fancy at the time. In this particular instance happens to be the knowledge lost within the city of Ythrin.
If your patron were something like Bahamut or Eldath, sure, we might believe you. But you're sided with an archdevil, and you think we're gonna believe that you're in for the good haul.
I didn't necessarily say I was in for the good haul. I said I was in for the knowledgeable haul, or perhaps even the profitable haul. You like
Can we
money,
go back to
right?
the whole family name thing, though? Because, like, she's never tried to hold that over our heads.
She hasn't.
Well, I mean, I don't remember
No.
her doing it. She might have mentioned it when she first started talking to us, but it didn't really matter to us, so she stopped.
Yeah, this isn't something where she's been, like, posing around and strutting around and making demands or anything based on her name.
You watch as
Honestly,
she
I get
begins
the
calculating, as if she didn't expect this response.
honestly, I get the impression she had no idea what she was getting into.
Yeah, she seemed rather surprised when she met us.
Mm-hmm.
She's been a big
It's been
help.
very, very entertaining.
Definitely prickly, but a big help.
She doesn't. She seems. She's trying to keep her composure. But she didn't expect your support, Evelyn. And she didn't expect the changing character that you assume that she expected of Evelyn. She is a bit thrown for a loop, to say the least. Then let me speak plainly. I want you and Evelyn to leave the city within the hour. Just plainly. Unless you join my side, and I share with you some of the knowledge that I have collected that will prove very useful in whatever you might be looking to do. What are you looking to do? You've asked me what I wanted to do, and I've been somewhat dodgy, so I expect a somewhat dodgy answer. What do you want?
Weapons
Peace?
to kill the great dragon Arveatris.
Arveatris.
Peace.
Peace that comes from killing the great dragon Arveatris.
I want that, and also to loot this place in the bedrock.
I see. Well, we may be able to help each other then.
I
No.
don't think so. I think your version of peace and my version of peace are going to be at odds.
Disappointing then. It seems that you are very well set in being opposed to me, given the nature of my patron. That's fine. Scales what?
You heard me.
Very well.
I've been holding it for hours. I needed to go.
Yeah,
And this
yeah,
is
get off!
a perfect opportunity.
Get off the kobold.
Oh! Barbaric!
I mean, he was raised by
Yetis.
Yetis.
What can you say?
Are you
What is
trying?
this tower made of, by the way?
So the specific, she in particular, like the way area that she's in it looks to be like a glass dome that is like almost looks like a crown. It's very sturdy looking despite its kind of shape. It is hovering about, I'd say, like 30 or so feet from the actual tower itself that it's hovering above, which is around 100 feet tall, made from the same kind of obsidian material that the rest of the city is.
What would happen if we brought down the lower tower?
It's a good
Do
question.
you have any idea?
Hard to say.
Because I can be gargantuan, have giant's might, and use an adamantine battle axe to just cut it down like a tree.
That would certainly be something to try if you wanted
Is
to.
her hand still there?
The hand's still there, yes. Occasionally it like wags a finger at you, like It seems to just gesticulate with her as she does, like an extension of her own hand.
Yeah, I don't think you're as safe in there as you think you are, which is, kind of interesting, because you're talking about Villin having all this ego, but you're really coming at us, like, rubbing us the wrong way with the way you're talking, and the kind of the ego you're showing there. Also, do you know prestidigitation? Because this is kind of, like, I need to clean my shoulder a little bit after that. That was not... Can you not do that again, Scales?
I pee off of you. Not on you.
It can splash around. I just don't
It's
want to
the
risk it.
principle of the matter.
It's the principle. Hang on, I can purge that with fire if you want.
You know what? I'm not. No, I happen to know the spell, but I don't think I will. I don't think I will. I think our meeting here is adjourned. Good day to you, kobolds. I wish you luck in your endeavors.
I don't
Hey,
think we
did
need
you bring
that.
friends with you? I'm sorry, you don't have friends. Did you bring your minions with you?
They'll be wherever I order them to be. And she kind of taps her mind.
So, with you. Okay, so they're here somewhere. So we just need to obliterate them, right? That seems like something we can do if we can't get you. We
Couple
can
gargoyles and some cultists, and
If we still have the mental connection, I'm going to suggest that this tower, I could try to knock the tower down.
I'm going to let Villin know that things are going south in our discussion.
They started south.
It kind of did.
negotiation failed.
Like, what do you think it would take to bring the whole thing down?
Can I do it for that?
I'd say roll just a straight intelligence check.
Okay.
Roll an engineering check.
Engineering
Now
check.
that is a proficiency I want.
Roll for architect.
That is a proficiency
Roll
I
for stone
want.
cunning.
21.
21. It would definitely be possible given enough time. The problem is, like, with the adamantine axe, if he didn't have the adamantine axe, it would not be doable at all. But with the axe, let's see, if he was big enough, the tower itself, as I said before, it was 100 feet high. Let me double check the actual like circumference of it, actual how wide it is, just to be sure.
Like, I'm thinking if I go down to the base and try to chop it down like a tree.
I know the visual you're going for. I just need to double check the actual. So this is 25. See, 25. I swear, I am the worst at this.
To be fair, this is not a normal question for this situation.
It's definitely not normal, but I feel why it doesn't. Here we go. It's let's see. The best guess you have is that it's around about 40-foot diameter. The tower. So you don't know the interior, so you're not sure like structurally the inside supports. But if you're just gonna like chop around the base wall, it might take around maybe no more than an hour, maybe less if you roll high enough.
What is the central object again?
So the central object seems to be some sort of dais that has what appears to be an orb in the center of it, kind of surrounded by this metal ring. It's almost seems more decorative.
Okay, so like the. Okay,
What you're saying is she's been pondering an orb.
You could say that, yes.
I see. So, part of me thinks we could do that, and part of me just kind of like wants to meme by bonking her over the head with catapult repeatedly.
I mean, why don't we do both?
But the orb is. I know if I think what you're thinking. The orb is connected to the dais. It's not like floating above it.
I mean, yeah, but there's like, what are these, like stools?
Oh yeah, there are stools.
Mugs
There are
and
like
stuff?
bottles of stuff on the side. Like there are objects to use. Yes.
there's a raven. We could probably use that.
Well, the raven's a creature, so it's not an object, so you couldn't do that. But
You could try to
You
snipe
could-
a raven.
Yeah, hit her.
You could,
hit the raven
actually.
first.
It's tempting. It's very tempting.
I mean, we are complete bastards, so
True. So, yeah, I suppose if talks have concluded at this point,
it seems that they have, as she is walking away from you, still keeping an eye on you. She doesn't have her back fully to you, but she seems to be disregarding you at this time.
I didn't regard her in the first place.
Oof.
Yep,
It would
we
hurt her.
noticed.
It would hurt her if she cared.
all right. So yeah, Hawks is gonna hover down to the ground.
Meepo is looking around, seeing if there are any like cultists coming our way, and also letting Velen know that we're done and she can come back.
Indeed. Let's see. At this point in time, she is just coming out of a door that has appeared on the base of the tower. So and as soon as she leaves it, the door shoots right back up. Let me see here. Just polygon.
So there's like a whole tower section we could explore.
Or we could knock the tower down.
For sure. So
I can be Kobold Godzilla. I kind of want to knock the tower down.
yeah, okay. If your enlarge runs out, I'll hit you with another one. Or I guess you got more.
Yes,
you know.
I am gonna run to the bathroom real quick and get some water, and when I get back, I would like to do this.
Absolutely. And when we attempt that, I will say after that, most likely we will end the session. But we'll let you do your bathroom.
Okay. BRB.
In the meantime,
In the meantime,
is Velen came out, right?
Velen is currently out of the building. She's walking towards you now.
And oh, what's the other one's name? Avarice. Avarice is going down the.
No, Everest is still in the. You assume
She's staying in the
still staying
in the top floor.
Yes.
Okay.
She thinks that she is protected in there.
Thanks.
I'm just looking through my abilities and spells.
You will notice at this point in time, one of the gargoyles, a different one, the one that you hadn't seen before, begins to kind of fly up towards the kind of like the top part of the crown, and just kind of hover on the top there. I don't have the token on it for the map, but it is there. I'll probably just go ahead and find a token to add there. I'll use that one because it's a nice token. Bowser is just so loud, honey. Yeah,
He's yelling at us.
Oh, definitely. So Velen will kind of like stride toward you. Well, that was a fruitful conversation, I wish I could say.
You missed out on something with
I
ours.
don't think I missed out on anything, really.
I glance over at Scales.
Alright, I am back.
Scale shrugs.
Alright. So, Hux, you have your axe. You're at the base of the tower. I will say the only thing that has changed in the time that you've been, going to the bathroom, is that you notice that there is a gargoyle that has currently landed on the top of the tower.
Okay. I'm gonna activate like 5 different things here.
Yeah?
I'm gonna
First
use
off-
Eldest's bond on him. And in the
First off, I'm gonna use a second wind to regain a little bit of health.
Uh-huh.
well,
I'm gonna add some music for this.
1d10 plus my fighter level. So that's pretty good. That's 19 health back. I am going to use another Giant's Might to have advantage on all my strength checks. I am going to use another usage of Enlarge to refresh my enlargement. So it goes for another hour. And I'm also going to use the Frost Room to give myself +2 on, for 10 minutes, I think, on all ability checks, saving throws that use Strength or Constitution. I'm going to stack everything I can on myself.
And don't forget Emboldening Bond.
And Emboldening Bond. So now, what is the process? Am I making attack rolls? Am I just pushing it over?
So,
What's happening here?
So, what you're going to be doing here, you're going to be making attacks against this tower with your adamantine axe. Because given the nature of the axe, and given it uses damage in the wording of it, I feel like attack rolls would be the most appropriate for this. I have a set amount of HP in mind. And the question is now, how many times you're going to attack it?
Can I potentially lend my assistance by using the force cannon to like pick at it and try to weaken sections?
I will say so. Now, there is something that's different about objects with fortifications compared to creatures. Usually there is a damage threshold in place for creatures, for structures or vehicles. If a damage roll does not meet the damage threshold for an object, or specifically a vehicle or structure, that damage is not done, even if it hits. So I wouldn't say like a damage threshold for this maybe be about 20 or so. It's a very well fortified structure, so you'd have to do a lot of damage in order to actually damage it, which shouldn't be a problem for the adamantine axe.
Because they're all automatic crits.
Indeed. And this counts as for like not a single source of damage, but like damage for like a turn.
Okay. Well, I've got a nice multi-attack.
So alright, go ahead and make your attacks. But I will say, go ahead and plink with the cannon. The cannon might do enough damage.
I'll be like, yeah, okay. I would be willing to say like, could I instead be taking like the help action or something?
Sure.
And I just feel like
He already
I want
has
to be
advantage,
contributing,
doesn't
you know?
he?
Ah, never mind then. Go forth. Do your guys' little
I mean,
thing.
I'll say, do you guys like have anything else to chip in? Like, do you want to go 8
I
for
guess
him for
I could-
scales, or like?
I could help. I could help him aim the cannon.
I feel like we could let this be. We should let this be Hux's thing if he's already got advantage and all.
Yeah.
So basically, you're just cheering and supporting him. Gotcha.
Yeah, cackling in the background. I'll make popcorn.
All right, Hawks, go ahead and make. We'll start with one round to start with. Go ahead and make some attack rolls.
Okay, so for this round, I action surge
Okay.
and make 6 attack rolls.
One
1 automatic crit, 2 automatic crits,
Mhm.
3 automatic crits,
Mhm.
4 automatic crits,
Yep.
5 automatic crits,
Yep.
6 automatic crits.
Yep.
So all of those, I need to roll the D8 again. So 6 more D8s just from that.
Mm-hmm.
That is
From
a
the
fireball.
base damage.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the initial hit.
Okay.
One of them will also get a Giant's Might D8, so that will also have crit and be a 2D8. And all of them will get a D4 from Enlarge, and therefore there will be 12 D4 added to that as well.
Oh,
Beautiful.
So,
6
32, 40,
77.
77,
plus
11, 23, 35, 43, 53, 66. 66 plus
77.
77. 66 plus 77. Yes, that much damage. Magical slashing.
Okay. So, let me
Paul Bunyan.
let me get a hang on a second. Let me get this tool right here. You destroy. Hang on, that's not gonna work. I'll use the freeform tool. You destroyed this section of the tower. The tower is still standing, but seems to be being destroyed in sections, and the tower begins to shake and quiver from each force of the impact. You watch as the dome, up above, the crown-shaped dome, also trembles as well. And the gargoyle begins to shift uneasily on top.
Okay. So what section next? If I do one over here, that might leave it room to just come toppling down on one side. You all should stand clear.
Moving back.
Makes sense.
Maybe we should have set up a hut before we did this.
Well, too late now.
Yeah, too late now.
So which where are you going now?
I'm going up here. And I am going to use the Icy Mantle from the Ice Rune Boots on myself. Which means that the next time I take bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage, that damage is reduced to 0, and the mantle is destroyed. Can't use it again until I finish a short or long rest.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make 3 more attacks. So, boom. 13.
Now that...
But I'll get a D4 as well, bringing it to a 17.
A 17, well, it does, the axe does hit the stone. It does not like a good, solid connecting hit, unfortunately. However, the Flash of Genius, it is.
Enough points out a weak spot between the stones. And...
Yeah. That one, shoddy mortaring.
Ah, good call. And then,
I think we paid a goblin to do it.
boom, boom.
Yeah,
more.
this is
And
not
these are all-
Kobold construction.
These are all crits,
Mhm.
so there will be 3 more D8s to roll. There will be another 2 D8s from Giant's Might on one of them.
56.
And there will be 6 D4s from Enlarge on top of that for 12 more.
68.
68 damage.
Woof! You watch this again. This section begins to crumble, and as it does, the tower almost begins to lean backward. It is pretty much on the cusp, but as it does, some of the rubble begins... You watch as a couple bricks and mortar begin to fall near your direction. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Do not have advantage on this.
19. Thankfully, using your shield, you manage to redirect the incoming rubble and just kind of bounce them to the side, uncaring, as you begin to go to a new section to swing the axe anew. Make your next 3 attacks.
That actually saves the Icy Mantle, so when the tower comes down on me, I won't take any damage. So that's actually a big deal that worked. I bet she's regretting this right now, huh? Let's go.
I don't think she was expecting us to chop a tower down.
Slam!
We are
Slam.
moving that direction.
Slam! I'm gonna do a D4
far
on
as
that
we
18
can.
to make it a 20. I think the 18 is the only one that's in question whether or not it hit.
18 just hits.
Okay, so all 3 of those, so that's 3 more D8s, 2 more D8s from Giant's Might, and 64.
32,
12, so that's 26.
44.
Two's across the
44
board.
from everything aside from the actual hits, and then 55, 63, 71.
71.
That's actually an incredible roll of D4s.
It is actually.
It is.
All 2s. No 1s.
Would it have been 12d4?
No, because
No.
it's only 3 attacks.
Oh, yes, right.
So, with this section decimated, enough of the tower has now been destroyed. The tower... You all know, for the rest of you, you no longer feel safe next to this crumbling tower.
Oh, we were
Yep.
moving a long time ago. That's what that arrow
Yep,
is.
running time.
Ah, good. Good, I was about to say.
having a good
I mean,
time.
we don't have a map to move off of.
Yeah,
but I
sorry,
put that
sorry.
arrow there to show that we were already leaving.
Yeah, I didn't see the arrow. I wished. I don't know if someone spoke up and said something, and I missed it.
I've said it like 2 times, but that's okay.
Sorry, I missed. Sorry.
No problem.
There's a tower coming down, so
We knew it was coming. We were getting out of the way.
No, that's fair. I just
Yeah.
it's fine.
I think you were focused on hawks. That's fine.
I was, yes. Yeah, you watch. I will say, as you look upward, as the tower begins to collapse, you see Avarice begins to. She appears and disappears outside the dome, and the gargoyle grabs her arms and legs, and she begins to fly away with the gargoyle carrying her. As the tower begins to completely begin to collapse.
I'll just yell, "Timber!"
Now, I gotta roll. I want to roll just for fun here, which direction it's gonna fall in. I'll roll a d8 for direction, 1 being north. So that would be north 2, 1, northeast 2, east 3, and southeast. South. So south. It would be
Towards us.
not quite towards you, no. Almost, but not quite. Okay, right? Hold on. I'm done. North is... Hold on. So sorry, my brain is so fried. North, southeast... North, northeast, east... Southeast, south... Okay, so it's just south, thankfully. So it's not quite any direction. Almost, but it barely whizzes past the debris, barely whizzes past you all, colliding into the rest of the city. I will say, Hawks, make 2 more dexterity saving throws for me.
Okay. Not with advantage. A 14 and a 10.
14 and 10, okay. So you're going to take a total... Yes?
The 14, I can use my reaction since I'm the only one making the save, so I can use the reaction for the shield.
Hey.
Shield Master.
And the
Go ahead.
So that will be 17 for that dexterity save, and I'll also use the emboldening bond if I can to...
Yeah, you can use it on saves.
and you still have a bardic inspiration on yourself.
So I really only need to make the first save, because if I stop it, my shield will keep me from taking damage, and then I'll have a whole save that it doesn't matter because I'll take 0 bludgeoning damage once. So I really only need to dump the first save. So yes, what is the inspiration die? Let's make this ridiculous. Let's make this unquestionable.
It's a D10.
Yes.
I've got enough from the inspiration and the emboldening bond to save a third save.
You know what?
I mean, I'll just use that on the second save, I guess. And
can you deflect
Pass
the
it
rock
all.
and hit her on her
Can
way
you
out?
deflect the falling tower? That's the question. The answer to this question for the audience is yes. Yes, in fact, you can. If you are a giant, if you're a big boy like Hawks, you see, you have the strength to do anything. Namely, using your enlarged pumice shield as a barricade to deflect the falling rubble and come out completely unscathed from the falling rubble. Hawks Hagnar, Tower Slayer.
so what? Hopefully she'll think twice about thinking she's safe in some fancy contraption from now on. Because, she ain't.
You think she thinks we actually did get Arl? No?
If she didn't before, I hope she does now, because that was absolutely impressive, Mr. Hagnar. Very impressive, Kingsport will say.
We probably should have just stopped her from leaving, but nah.
No, I like this. This is more fun this way. Although
We gotta flex on her.
I'm not going
The
to
biggest
think.
problem I see with this is that I think the Lich knows we're here now.
I'm not going to think about that. I'm also not going to think about the knowledge that was probably lost in that tower being destroyed. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to.
Did
have
you
a
grab
positive
anything on your way down?
I did grab one thing.
Good.
I'll have to see later if it's worth it. And with that,
Well,
I'll end the session for tonight. It is 12:05.
All right.
You mad lad. Not only did you kill Oral by jumping off a tower and suplexing her divine essence into the ground from a 600-foot tower. You fell from a tower to kill a god, and now you've slain a tower.
What is it with you? Do you have like a grudge against towers?
It's Tower Toppler.
Technically, by killing Orla, you toppled Grimskull. So that's technically 2 towers you've destroyed now.
Does the did we ever do anything with the castle in the southern area? Did we topple any towers there? Maybe we should go down there and destroy it.
Technically, that wasn't you. That was the dragon for that one.
Oh right.
That was the Charlton one. But, still, very good, very good. All right.
When we were at the bookstore picking up this copy of Call of the Netherdeep that I now have in my hands, one of the people at the shop got to talking to us about D&D, and apparently he was running Rime of the Frost Maiden for a group, which was cool to talk about. But among the other things we got to talk about in that, yes, sharing the story of jumping off a tower to defeat Carl was fun.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, with that said, I think I'm going to end the stream here. If you're watching, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful night. And we'll see you again next week. Until then, though, we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.